fly tyers, welcome to another episode of Angler Maid's Aaron at the Fly Desk. Today we're going to tie a fly that's called the Soft Hackle Pheasant Tail. This is a wet fly that has a little bit more movement than a typical pheasant tail nymph, and it's an easy fly to fish because you don't have to worry about a free floating in the current. You can drag it, you can strip it, and it tends to catch a lot of fish, so we like this fly. Okay, you can tie it with or without a tail. I personally like to tie this fly with a tail, and I typically get 5 or 6 pheasant tail fibers, and so I'm going to make this tail just a little bit shorter than the hook. You can see once I let my thread dangle, I like to start this fly about where the barb lines up with the bend of the hook. So we're tying this on a size 14 wet nymph hook with a 7/64 bead. So we've got our tail on there. Next thing we're going to do is just get some gold ribbing wire, like so. And my rule is if I use a gold bead, I use gold wire. If I use copper bead, I use copper wire. And I tie the wire on the side of the hook, not on the top, not on the bottom, but on the side. And it just gives my pheasant tail nymph a little more dimension. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie this like a standard pheasant tail, and I'm going to get about an 1/8 of an inch clump of pheasant tail. Cut it right down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to put it on the side of the hook, the length of the whole body. And what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap it through. Just like so. Cut this off. Then what I like to do is wrap my thread, or not my thread, my wire actually opposite of how I wrapped my pheasant tail. And what this does is it just keeps everything nice and tight and wrapped over. Makes the fly a little bit stronger. So I just pull that tight. Give it a couple wraps. Then we get to the fun part. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some saddle hackle, and on a soft hackle fly you want to use webbed hackle. And you can see when I bend it, it all sticks together. And that's webbed hackle. That's going to pulsate, have a lot more movement in the water than a standard hackle, standard dry fly hackle. So this is a good dry fly hackle, and you can see when I bend it, none of that hackle's sticking together. It's nice and stiff, and so that's good for dry flies. But for wet flies, especially soft hackle style flies, I want the nice webbed soft stuff. So what I'm going to do, this is a brown grizzly saddle. I just tie that on. And what I'm going to do is do about 3 wraps, is all. Just like so. And what I'm going to do is cut this off. And then what I do is I wrap my thread through the hackle just to give it a little bit more strength. I'm going to pull everything backwards. I'm going to make a nice little olive collar on this fly. You can see my hackles laying back across the body, and you can see it's really soft, so when I fish this in a current, it's going to pulsate in the water and trigger strikes. Okay, and the last step here is we're just going to whip finish this fly. Just like so. And then I like to put just a little bit, oops, not that much, just a tiny bit of UV glue all around this collar. You can see, gives it just a nice crisp buggy look. So that, my friends, is what I call a soft hackle pheasant tail nymph. And like I say, when you fish this fly, it works better in rivers and creeks, but you're going to cast it cross current and you're just going to let it swing down below you, and you just hold on tight, and as it swings in that current, this hackle pulsates and gives it some movement. It can imitate a drowned fly or a minnow. And then what I like to do is once my line swings around, I like to then strip it in nice and slow and let that hackle pulsate to hopefully trigger a strike. So this is a really good fly for beginners because you don't have to worry about mending your line or getting that perfect float with no drag. You can simply heave it out there and let it drag through the hole and catch some fish. So thank you for watching my rendition of a soft hackle pheasant tail nymph.